Hello. I've been thinking about making this video for quite a while, and what I want to talk about is this odd looking keyboard, this split keyboard. I've been using this keyboard for almost 2 years now, and once I got it sort of set up, in a way that I liked, I haven't really touched it much. So much so that before this video, I had to actually Google how to edit the keyboard because it had been so long that I've actually forgotten. So that's how sort of set in stone my settings are, and that's a good sign. So first of all, it's a split keyboard from the company called Split KB. So it comes as a kit, so it comes with like a PCB board and you push the switches into it and that sort of thing. So it's pretty bare bones, like it's basically just a circuit board, doesn't even really have a cover, which is a bit worrying. But like I said, I've had it for 2 years and so far so good. Hasn't broken. I've actually got two of these. They're both exactly the same, just one has different colored keys, but same settings otherwise. And yeah, my motivation for getting it, I guess there's a couple of motivations. Firstly, I wanted to be able to touch type numbers and symbols, which is something that I could never really do on a conventional keyboard. That's the first motivation. The second motivation is, having a programmable keyboard allows you to do custom things like custom commands and scripts and that sort of thing. So it's all very niche sort of stuff. All the improvements that I feel from this are all relatively minor, I suppose. But in the grand scheme of things, I think my ability to do work has increased. I type faster. I actually didn't expect my general typing to improve with this. That was actually an added bonus, and I'll talk about why I think that is in a moment. But yeah, my general typing is definitely faster. And yeah, touch typing symbols is, yeah, it's a pretty big deal for me, I think, because I do a bit of computer code and that sort of thing. We do symbols quite a lot. And yeah, it makes the whole thing a lot quicker. And like, I might be getting a little bit theoretical here, but I feel like if you can lower the cognitive load on writing out a statement like this, you sort of get into that flow state a bit easier when you're doing complex things. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we've got the split keyboard. Apologies for the camera angle. I know it's maybe not so easy to see what's going on this side, but yeah, this video is pretty impromptu. I might start with why I think my general touch typing skills, why I think my general touch typing skills have improved. So if you see, yeah, you can see that pretty clearly. You can see that the keys are in linear columns. I think they refer to this as being ortholinear. And this is as opposed to, conventional keyboards, which have the keys staggered. And, having used this, I can't believe they still make keyboards like this. You don't realize how shit this is until you get used to something like this. And the reason why it is so much better, take the N and the B key, for instance. If I'm at the home base here, which is, pinky on A, index on F, if I want to press the B key, I just know that it's down and to the right. Every single key has like a memorizable relative position that you can always find. For instance, F5 I know is 2 up and 1 to the right. I shouldn't have pressed that because that's going to try and execute the game and I already have this Unreal Engine open. Oh dear. That could be a mistake. Uh-oh. Abort. Okay, nothing bad happened. Why did I pick F5 to demo? That was dumb. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, my ability to touch type has improved. So typo there, it's because I was trying to go too quickly, because I'm trying to impress you. But yeah, take my word for it, my ability to touch type has improved. Now the next thing is touch typing numbers. Touch typing numbers like 5 or 3.1459276. Can't remember. So maybe this is a good chance to show you what it looks like when you edit the layout. First of all, ignore all this stuff in the middle. This is for these add-ons which can go here and here. I never use those though. Same with this. Ignore this and this. So we're only focusing in this sort of J shape, sorry, this sort of L shape and this sort of J shape here. So this is where all the letters are, what the thumb keys do. I'll talk about those in a moment. I've got the normal Control, Shift, Tab, Escape, Backspace, Tab. I actually never press that though. Shift, Control. This is the Windows key. I don't know why it says LGUI, but yeah, that's just Windows. So yeah, if I hold down this button, which is here, I get the numbers. So these numbers are the numbers that are on the numpad, typically. And these are like the row numbers. Now when you're typing in a text document, they work the same, but you know, some programs, they specify that for a certain hotkey, it needs to be this type of number. For instance, in Pro Tools, if you press this 3, it's record, but if you press this 3, it's not the same thing. It's actually different. So yeah, there's some times when you need to differentiate between the two different types of 3. But yeah, it's cool. Like I can, I can do all the numbers on this hand, or I can do all the numbers on this hand. The downside of this, of course, is that to press a number, I need to use my thumb and a finger, or if I need these numbers, I need 2 hands. I need the thumb and a finger. So that is a downside of this, but you know, I don't think it's a big deal. Next is symbols. So if I hold down this key here with my thumb, that brings up the symbols. So, you know, I really wanted it so that all the symbols were, you know, you didn't have to move your hand too much. So the symbols are on this side, and the navigation keys are also on this layer. So like, you know, to go left, it's like this, up, down, and then I'm a big fan of like the home and end keys. So that's really cool. Like if you want to delete a line, for instance, up, maybe that's a bad example. Let's say I want to delete this line. It's just Shift and Home, and you can see how it's quite easy to, you know, navigate around a text document with those keys where they are. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, the symbols are all accessible without moving your hand too much. And the different brackets are all sort of here, open and close on each hand. So yeah, this sort of bracket, close enough. This sort, and this sort. So yeah, all very accessible. I don't have to look down. Very cool. So putting all that together, you know, the obvious application of that is when you're doing coding like this. So yeah, if I wanted to recreate that line, Oop. Did I do it right? No. Very close. So yeah, notwithstanding that error there, but you could see that I was able to smash that out pretty easily with a couple of symbols along the way. If I could find a line, yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Because that has some numbers and symbols. So if we want to recreate that one, oh, so close. And there we go. Combination of numbers and symbols. Didn't have to look down once. Very cool. That looks like a fun line. Let's just do that one just to show off a bit more. A building. Yes. That's it. Same? Yes. Nice. So yeah, that's what these mean. These are the different layers. MO2, MO3. Those are the names of these layers here. Just going back to the main layer, which is where all the numbers and letters are. I've noticed online that most people put numbers up here. I chose to put the F keys just because a lot of the programs that I use F keys quite often. You know, we use it in coding quite a lot, and you know, my main profession is a sound designer for video games, and we use F keys for that quite often as well in various programs. So yeah, I decided to have those immediately available there. And yeah, it's working out quite well. But just a comment that I've noticed that I'm the only person I've seen online that does this. Make of that what you will, I guess. What else? So this is pretty nerdy. The sixth layer. So if we look at what this is, you can see that this, you know, there's nothing really going on over here. I don't use those keys at all. It's mainly to do with this left-hand side, and you can see that this is like a mirror image of this side. So this is definitely the nerdiest aspect of this keyboard. But just to demonstrate what this does. So I'm typing pretty slow, but oh, that one's a hard one. Yeah, I'm typing slow, but as you can kind of see, I can type whole sentences with one hand. You know, as I said, definitely the nerdiest feature of how I've got the keyboard set up. But there are some applications of this. You know, when you're doing something in a program where you sort of click and type, click and type, click and type, doing that sort of thing a lot. You know, off the top of my head, something that I do quite often. Oh, there we go. In Unreal Engine, I have to do this a lot for work. So you go on the timeline, and then you start typing PLAY for play sound. So you can see I can do that with one hand, and you know, I might have to do that like 100 times a day. So you know, it's really cool to be able to do it without taking your hand off the mouse. Yeah, very minor improvement there, but it's a cool one nonetheless. So yeah, that's definitely a niche feature, being able to type with one hand, but it's something that I do sometimes. What else? So there's this MO4. So what this is, so I guess what these are assignable keys that I use in the audio editing software Reaper. So if you're not a sound designer or sound engineer, it might not mean much to you to know what they do. But essentially, these are custom commands that I bind in this program. So it's super niche, but you know, I've found different scripts that I've made to some of these keys. So this is very specific for this program. It also comes up in another program that sound designers for video games use called Wise, Audio Kinetic Wise. You know, so this key here, that's new random container in Wise. So if I press like this, it's a new random container. So again, very niche. If you're not a sound designer, that doesn't mean much to you. But yeah, that's part of the usage of this. But I guess the way it might apply to you, you know, in whatever software that you use, if you work in a profession that uses a particular software, you might put hotkeys to whatever your program of choice is under here. And then it gives you quick access to these different hotkeys and that sort of thing. An example of that is if I didn't use Reaper so much, if I still used Pro Tools more, like I used to do, one thing that I might do is, you know, where maybe here, instead of it being Control Alt Shift E, I might make this key Alt Shift 3, which is consolidate file in Pro Tools. That could be a cool use of this sort of stuff. So if I want to consolidate, I just do this one, you know. That's the sort of thing that you might like to do. Yeah, there's a few other things that I find handy, just to demonstrate. Even if you're not a sound person, you should be able to follow along with what I'm going to demonstrate. The way I have Reaper set up is if you press the L key, this playback head, which is this line here, will go to the start of that block. See that? And then tab goes forward. So I wanted to do that with the one hand. So what I've been able to do is if I press D and F at the same time, that is the same as L. And then also P goes up and colon goes down. And I wanted to be able to do that with one hand as well. So if I press these two keys like this, it's up. These two like this is up and down. So more examples of things that I've added in for convenience, just to make my ability to navigate niche software a bit easier. So yeah, I guess to summarize, the things that I like about this is my ability to touch type in general has increased. I can touch type numbers and symbols, and I'm able to bind specific functions to different layers for specific programs, and then typing on one hand as well, but I don't really do that very often. So yeah, those are the reasons why I use this. Maybe you found that interesting. If you have any questions about this, please reach out. Yeah, it's good fun getting into the world of custom keyboards. I'll definitely never go back to normal keyboards if I can avoid it. All right, thanks for listening.